Despite constitutional protection, Muslims in India have long been the target of systematic discrimination and criminalization.
And this situation has intensified under the rule of the Bharatiya Janata Party, which aligns itself with majoritarian politics and Hindutva ideology.
This government has used various policies and laws to criminalize Muslims, fostering anti-Muslim sentiments among the general population. The news media and the Bollywood film industry have further exacerbated the situation by portraying Muslims as potential criminals.
अपनी 72 हुरों को हमारा सलाम बोलना।
क्या इस्लाम आतंकवाद और आईएसआईएस की प्रेरणा है?
कश्मीर में भी जिहादी हैं और केरल में भी जिहादी हैं। क्या आप ओसामा बिन लादेन की इस्लामिक शिक्षाओं पर लिखी गई किताबों से अपने बच्चों को शिक्षा दिलवाना चाहेंगे?
ये है हिंदुस्तान के मुसलमान।
साल में केरला इस्लामिक स्टेट बन जाएगा।
This video is in collaboration with Hatebusters, a website committed to debunking anti-Muslim hate speech and promoting positive, accurate news about Muslims and Islam. Its ultimate aim is to foster a just and inclusive society where diverse communities coexist peacefully. To achieve this, the website offers a comprehensive toolbox, including a debunking hate section with well-researched articles backed by references, an eye-openers section highlighting uplifting stories that dispel misinformation, a library for accessing books, and a media section for finding videos, all rigorously verified and sourced. Visit hatebusters.in and join in the fight against hateful propaganda and Islamophobia, and help in creating a more inclusive and understanding world.
This collective criminalization of Muslims
By the government,
media and film industry has acted as a catalyst intensifying Islamophobia. So insidious has this criminalization become that if you are Muslim,
you cannot even eat, pray, or love in the country without the possibility of criminal implications.
let's have a look at each of these criminalizations that plague Indian Muslims.
Muslim journalists and activists have faced unjust criminalization for merely doing their jobs of writing and speaking.
In October 2020, Siddiq Kappan and 3 others were arrested while they were on their way to report on the horrific Hathras gang rape case. Siddiq Kappan was held in detention for over 2 years on the grounds of intending to incite a caste-based riot and creating communal disharmony.
Kappan is just one name that was able to garner attention.
There are numerous other Muslim journalists who face unjust incarceration owing to their religious identity. Similarly, during the protests against the Citizenship Amendment Act and the National Register of Citizens, several Muslim activists and individuals who advocated for their community's rights were arrested. It has been 4 years. Many of these individuals continue to languish behind bars. The misuse of certain laws by the government and its authorities is another crucial factor that contributes to the criminalization of Muslims. There are national security laws like UAPA, NSA, sedition, anti-conversion laws, triple talaq law, and cow slaughter laws that particularly target the Muslim community.
Under these laws, government authorities have implicated Muslims in fabricated cases,
leading to eventual acquittals, but not before the victims have endured years of imprisonment or lengthy court trials, sometimes decades.
दंगा करके पेड़ से लटका के उल्टा पीटा, मेरे लैट्रिन वाली जगह पे पेट्रोल डाला और मुस्लिम नेम ही काफ़ी है दहशतगर्द साबित करने के लिए। मतलब उन्होंने मजबूर किया मुझे कि मैं आईबी के लिए इन्फॉर्मर और सीक्रेट एजेंट के तौर पे काम करूं। पुलिस किसी को पकड़ के लाती है, मीडिया उसको मोहर लगा देती है। 2 अलबदर के दहशतगर्द पकड़े गए, क्योंकि दहशतगर्द साबित करने में पुलिस का रोल 10% होता है, 90% मीडिया का रोल।
कभी पतंग उड़ाते हुए मेरी निगाह जब पतंग के करीब से जहाज़ गुजरता था तो मेरी निगाह उस पर टिकती थी और सोचता था एक दिन मैं जहाज़ चलाऊंगा और पायलट बनूंगा। लेकिन वो ख्वाब तो आज से 14 साल पहले उस काली रात ने तोड़ दिया। अभी भी ख्वाब वो टॉर्चर के आते हैं। घर में जो होते हैं वो कहते हैं कभी कभी कि भाई तुम रो रहे थे। टोटल 14 साल जेल में रहा।
The UAPA stands out as one such law frequently used to charge Muslim organizations and individuals in fabricated terror cases. A notable instance is from December 2001, when 127 Muslims who were attending a 3-day seminar on Muslim education were arrested. After a prolonged legal battle spanning 19 years, all of them were acquitted in 2021.
Particularly demonized are Muslim men who find themselves unjustly penalized are also punished for non-crimes, all under the guise of women protection.
The Triple Talaq law makes Muslim men the only section of India for whom divorce, a private wrong for all other communities, is a crime against the state. Finally, a recent diabolical legal measure even attempts to strip the community of a place to sleep.
बुलडोजर मामा जिंदाबाद 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 बुलडोजर मामा जिंदाबाद जिंदाबाद बुलडोजर बाबा जय हो बुलडोजर बाबा बुलडोजर बाबा चाप रहे हैं.
Under what is being termed as bulldozer justice, more than 1,200 houses were reduced to rubble in August 2023 in Nuh, Haryana. Majority of these structures, called illegal, belong to Muslims. This is the most recent of a series of cases where state governments resort to extrajudicial means for punishing Muslims.
और जिसमें जैसे जैसे जिसके ऊपर केस बनता है उसको इलाज करेंगे और इलाज में बुलडोजर भी एक दवाई है
और इसीलिए वो जो दोषी हैं उनको नेस्तनाबूद किया जा रहा है और बुलडोजर चल रहा है और चलता रहेगा. और
Since the BJP came into power, there has been a concerning trend of Muslims being targeted with calls for economic boycott. In April 2020, Uttar Pradesh BJP MLA Suresh Tiwari urged people to not buy vegetables from Muslims. Similarly, in March 2022, BJP National Secretary C.T. Ravi described halal meat as economic jihad. Not just elected representatives, many regional Hindu Mahapanchayats that have a strong influence on local populations call for economic boycotts, urging people not to trade with Muslims.
उसके बाद किसी दुकानदार ने किसी मुसलमान को अपनी दुकान पे रखा, उसके दुकान के बाहर उसके बहिष्कार का पोस्टर हम लगाने का काम करेंगे.
A new category of violence emerged in India in 2015: beef lynching. Political journalist and author Akar Patel calls it Modi's gift to India.
The cow slaughter laws criminalize the mere possession of beef and have resulted in a series of horrifying murders where Muslims are lynched to death on the basis of suspicion.
In September 2015, 50-years-old Muhammad Akhlaq, a resident of Uttar Pradesh, was stoned to death by a mob allegedly over rumors that his family had been consuming and storing beef at home. In June 2017, in Jharkhand's Ramgarh district, a mob of more than 100 people lynched a 45-year-old Muslim trader on the suspicion of carrying beef in his car. Most recently, 2 Muslim men in February 2023 were burnt to death on the pretext of cow slaughter. The prime accused, cow vigilante Monu Manesar, still remains at large. These laws also invert the burden of proof, which means that if you're a Muslim person accused of possessing beef, then it is your job to disprove the allegation, turning the principle of innocent until proven guilty on its head. In Gujarat, the punishment for cow slaughter is life in prison. There is no other economic crime in the country that attracts such a severe sentence.
Members of the Bajrang Dal assaulted a man on an Ajmer-bound train in Madhya Pradesh. According to reports, the man, who is a Muslim, was traveling with a Hindu girl, and the right-wing
Anti-conversion laws have emerged as a recent instrument used by the ruling party to penalize Muslims under the guise of love jihad.
Love jihad is a conspiracy theory that implies Muslim men are purposefully targeting Hindu women for conversion to Islam through marriage. Just a month after the UP government notified this anti-conversion law, the state authorities filed cases against 86 individuals, out of which 79 of them were Muslim. They were accused of enticing women and forcing them to convert to Islam. Not just incarceration, they further grant impunity to extremist Hindu organizations to act as vigilantes and attack Muslims for simply being spotted with Hindu women. Akar Patel in his work argues that anti-conversion laws are laws made to create problems because there is neither enough complaints nor data in these states to support the need for such laws in the first place. You're essentially making a law to tackle a conspiracy theory that exists more in the Hindutva head than it does on the Indian ground. The level of hatred in India has reached to such an extent that praying is criminalized, even when done within the four walls of your own house. In August 2022, the Moradabad police charged 26 individuals for offering namaz at their homes under Section 5052 of the Indian Penal Code. In June 2022, a college professor in Aligarh was forced to take a month-long leave after right-wing Hindus objected him offering namaz under a tree in the college lawn. He faced a notice and an investigation as a result. Similarly, in March 2023, the police issued notices to 10 Muslims for organizing prayers at home and imposed a penalty of Rs 5 lakh on each of them. While Muslims praying is treated with suspicion and hate,
the government has facilitated Hindu religious gatherings.
An example of this selective treatment is the Uttarakhand government allocating a separate budget for the Kawad Yatra, showering them with flowers, or the Delhi administration setting up 200 camps to facilitate the same. These different kinds of criminalization have far-reaching consequences. Not least of all is ending up in jail. Indian Muslims account for a disproportionate representation in prison. Based on the analysis of prison statistics in India, from 1998 to 2014, Ahmed and Siddiqui found that approximately 70% of Muslim prisoners are under trial or detainees, indicating that the 3/4 of Muslims incarcerated are not convicted criminals. Similarly, Raghavan and Roshni Nair's research in Maharashtra reveals that 96% of Muslim prisoners have not been held under preventive detention charges, suggesting that they are not considered a threat to law and order.
However, despite being non-convicts, many Muslims remain in prison for extended periods due to the prevalent challenges such as the inability to afford legal representation and the sluggish judicial system.
This is evident from the fact that in states like Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, Odisha and Gujarat, with the highest proportion of Muslims in prisons, approximately 1 in every 4 cases has been pending for over 5 years, and a staggering 2.3 million cases have been pending for more than 10 years. As a result, the number of Muslims in prison continues to compound due to these prolonged delays in the justice system. Police biases towards Muslims also contribute to the disproportionate representation of Muslims in prison. According to a survey conducted by Common Cause, half of the police surveyed hold the belief that Muslims are naturally inclined to commit crimes, and 38% of them reported facing political pressure in cases of crime involving influential persons. This bias prevailing among the police can also be corroborated by the abysmally lower rates of Muslim representation in the police force. According to the National Crime Records Bureau, only 6.3% of Indian police personnel were Muslim in 2013, highlighting the lack of diversity and inclusion within the police force. No such data is available since then. So if we deconstruct Muslim criminalization in India, we realize that more often than not, incarceration is not so much about committing a crime as it is about a complex interplay of power structures, including political, economic and media, that systematically profile the members of a particular community as probable criminals. Innocent until proven guilty is a fundamental principle of justice. However, the criminalization of Muslims in India raises concerns about the erosion of this principle. All too often, they become targets of baseless allegations and victims of prison warehousing wherein they are forced to endure extended periods of imprisonment and lengthy court trials. This unjust criminalization of Muslim youths not only robs them of valuable time in their lives, but also undermines their potential contributions to both community development and the nation at large.